Hi, everybody. Um, this is full colon Sandra, my given name, and my middle name, Gwenna, which means queen, my mercy seat name. And I wrote some letters to the president for the executive branch and the Congress, the legislative branch, and the judiciary branches, and we have the We the People branch. There is no fourth branch of government. There are two worlds and two governments here, is what people don't realize. And the one that rests on my head as an autonomous woman, feminine, not female chattel. And then there's the CEO corporate government. And I am a fact, not a fiction. And we have been under a lot of lies in this world, and this is for educational purposes. And I claim fair use, all rights reserved, and no liability. You might want to check out this document from a poisonous tree from the Anti-Corruption Society. It has the top secret seal of the Operations Research Technical Manual of the Department of the Air Force. Um, I got it on PDF at the library, and this one, WW Law Books, and all have Supreme Court cases on this matter. Um, then I'm not crazy. Um, this is all truth. You have the right to travel without a license. No licensure is required. And I want to read quickly this letter that I wrote. It says under special, and it was done in cursive, my handwriting, but I do it discursive on any curses. So rid of 37 double-sided pages, total of 74. Under special, I come and appear, discursive to the concerned. I am writing to you in a special first-hand knowledge and command of my honor. In my courts, in my bank, you stand under me, not over me. For I understand and overstand in the I am that I am the great I am. Forever this my name shall be, as Moses Messiah was told, Exodus 5:1. I am the great I am. In the burning bush, my proclamation. I will now speak as a spoken will in this class action lawsuit, my wisdom of your statutes, hues of a man, and codes and baby Babylon language with common sense law of the truth. I will include wording with my sarcasm and remarks, my jots and tittles for title of me, myself and I, and my creation, creator, tour, my vacation, SHUN, to shun all their lies. Your British Bankruptcy Act fraud of 1933 with E.D. Roosevelt and British Electronic Association System terminal to terminate with you. 8 Shun Beast, that stands for the Beast, and the British Accreditation Registry Bar Association. Hosea 2:16-17. I'm well read, and soil, S hyphen oil, never. My issue, uh, Hosea 2:16, never runs dry. My oil never runs dry. Accredite, shun, registry of the Attorney Regis 221-1871. This says Paul Pope Boniface the Eighth in the Tiara Tear 1481 third party tear crown with Queen Elizabeth in London, who wants a cut on everyone's blood, sweat, and tears with her Crown copyright fraud on my name. They did a character assassination on her father's name. I am the queen of my own castle and private intellectual property and my real estate. Sedekpe Act Trust they did in 1666. It's a Brady Bill, crime, bondage, slavery. It's on watermark paper with cursive numbers. Roman usurpant, sir, Mr. You've seriously mistaken me. Capita, capitalizing off of you. Diminutia, Maximus, to diminish, minus the man to a slave and have no land, air, water rights on landlord record. This all ran into the United States in 1950, people, if you know public law and read your public law books. And this writ applies to me and my sons and my daughter, who are not children or kids or humans or any of your legal definitions. You cannot harm a state, a corporation, a person, a plaintiff, a defendant who has no defense with a CE, not an SE. So I have defense, and this is sealed with my Fibonacci seal, my thumbprint seal, and my postage stamps, and I have done many works and performances to get out of this system. If you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. And this is all in Title 5 U.S. Section 903, page 94 through 564, and you have the Freedom of Information Act. So their law, fraud, in 388 CE, that was the capita diminutia, that was the Roman usurper curse, your surname, serpent, fruit, root of a poisonous tree, trunk. Etz is the trunk of a man's body, his arms, legs in Hebrew. How does a Jew brew their coffee? They bruise it. So he brews, you're healed. So the devil, verily, verily, I say unto you. And there was originally a W, of Eve was a W. Not one word shall pass till all law is fulfilled, passed from death to life. So your donkey, and you wonder why the tribe of Dan is not numbered in the book of Revelations, chapter 7. Donkey, assets, trunk of a man's body, his arms, his legs, the coat of arms, name, surname, serf, slave, and they capitalized it. So, Mr. Public Servants, Proverbs, like a pro, I say. Proverbs 6 says, be like the ant who has no ruler, overseer over them. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunters, for they are bank robbers. And if you read the documentary Creatures of Jekyll Island by Edward Griffin, you would see in the United States in 1910 when the gold, the 6 private bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, J.P. Morgan, yada yada. So my deliverance, liver, I am alive, live, not dead. The baby Babylon. A-H means feminine. H-A means masculine. Aha. Because I'm not male or female chattel. And that is a farming term with their big pharmaceuticals. So, and I'm not your whore or harlot or your Jezebel. So my king is beloved, and you have your conscience, subconscious mind, your super conscious, and I'm not going to be at odds because I'm conscious. So these people have no conscience. The woman, the seed of the woman, the womb, crushes Satan's head. Genesis 49, 16, 17. No more biting my heels, hindering Satan's, the 10, when I have to zero everything out at night, all these banks. No feet, sole of my foot. They stamp on that birth certificate when you're born. D-E means no, R-E means no in their language. If you study the Parsi syntax, grammar, their sin, their tax on you on purpose with their purposeful grammatical errors. They're words that have up to 1,000 meanings, and you have the Black's Law Dictionary, which has no merit, and their USC codes, University of Spoiled Children. So you're damned for your educational purposes. I say meow, kitty meows. Halo, that's hell. Hallelujah, they're hell. There was no originally E, I, O, or U in the ancient Hebrew, the original 22 letters of the alphabet. Um, Allah, I live, Tav, Tawa, your cruise of fiction, their cruise of fiction crucified me with a T that's north, south, east, west, X, X is in hugs, X with the O around it. X marks the spot because it was already signed. And the sign has the word sin in it, and informant means informing on a death or a crime that mothers and fathers sign those BI birth certificates when their child is born and you're labeled dead from birth. It's a mortgage on your soul with their maritime lien. We'll get into that. Blackstone's Black Law magic tricks are for kids. Billy Goat notes, Fed notes, ID note. I am not no T your scapegoat. Jump off a cliff. Anyone who harms the head of my sons and daughters, the real kings and queens, would be better off to put a millstone around their neck and cast themselves into the sea. Their UCC uniform commercial code maritime lien no merit 22 CFR code foreign relations 92-12 through 13. It's intercourse, artificial, and AI insemination. And you wonder why they're making these AIs. Condemnation lawsuit, Holy See, UCC, sea fraud, 21-ton ship mortgage on everyone's soul. And I challenge the poop because you have to address them in their real name, not pseudonym monikers. Jorge Mario Bergoglio on that. The papal bull, pay bull, blood of bulls and goats not redeemable. 1455 birth certificate curse versus the BERTH registry in my real name, which they had no right to joinder with the surname. 49 USC section 1403 shows the maritime international law we have been under. And they sacrificed my son Zachary, and Zachary Kariah means a car means to remember. Revelations 9:21. Furthermore, they didn't repent of their murder, magic, arts, sorcery, and theft. So with the surname, they did a character assets, assassination, to take your assets, and they're not U.S. citizens. They've relinquished their citizenship as a U.S. citizen. 14th Amendment is never ratified. All caps U.S. citizens became slave. They never abolished slavery. They just renamed it when the blacks came here and had no citizenship. So I have renounced my U.S. all caps U.S. citizenship. And this is not the United States of America, land of the free and home of the brave that we thought was, and my relatives fought for my freedom. But that capitalization is like a dog tombstone non de guerre. It means to cut off your head. It's a disparaging Latin cursors, hinders of abundance, okay? Like you're a bun in the oven. The Bible, bye your bull, is, about banking and banning the wicked kings and getting rid of bondage, slavery, to steal from you with the Mr. Government controls. They're meant, mind, my brain, sound mind, 2 Timothy 1:7. I am not a con with their fee fi fo from the blood of an Englishman. Einstein, tin tax ID number, tin man, those 9 letters, your social security number. They're ish, my man, Irish, Scottish, 1.6185 blood heirs. I am ancestry, my tree of life, my showbread, gingerbread, my frankincense, and I've sealed all my papers with tons of stamps and Fox Gold stamps, which are real gold, 2 gold bars through it. And so I have the last laugh against, as a saint, my street, against their games. Take me off of your rolls, your rowboat. I flip the tables like Christ said. The Bible's full of metaphors, allegories, and synonyms. Rowboat, your old boat. Did you guys see the news lately? How all their boats flipped over? That big storm. Matthew 3:7, generation of vipers, hypocrites. Matthew 12:34, with their docks and ships. They're not obeying the vow to preserve life. My genealogy, genie in the bottle, wishes I'm not your blind soldier or employee or part of your militia. False flag in court, not authorized for USA. Codes Chapter 1, Section 1 and 2. The Fed CEO Corp has no function. 27 USC 25-1-11. Put up your white flag and surrender. I render all contracts with Billy Goat notes null and void in your hell, and it's unlawful for your OCC to hold my gold and silver in any Federal Reserve Bank. That's your 12-411, right? Title 12 USC 411. For your information, everybody, I meet with the infinite eternal one spirit and pay no fines to you all. XY chromosome. Crows sow me. You reap what you sow. You didn't knit me in my mother's womb, my fair lady maiden, my mother Victoria, Christine Christ, and my mother's first and mercy seat middle name, matriarch. Seal. Silly rabbits, tricks are for kids. Bulls, Hebrews 9:12 and 10:4. Impossible didn't enter, and by bulls and goats the lamb you slain. Sarah Brim, Piney Oakland, slain, sacrifice, buried, dead with the DEA, rugged cross enforcement. I do not comply. 42 USC 18115. I don't have to comply or contract or buy a contract with any of you or get a shot. That code with your University of Spoiled Children, den of thieves and robbers. My bank, Proverbs 6, as claimant, no ruler, tyrants over me. I don't mandate anyone in your courts of assumption and presumption. In my Father's house is many mansions. John 14:2. I honor my mother and father. Exodus 20:12. Exodus 6:2. My fashion white linen, purity at bay, and my transparency. Notice how they've got the windows at all the courthouses now. Transparency. They did a parent patria. I made you wards of the state. Children means ward of the state. Thank you. Excuse my French. And so then my parents left me a daughter of fortune, and grandfather clocked me in. Even Stephen, my dad, my Ron Scepter, we have plenty of stock, bonds, dividends, and assets. They passed on to me. My labors and performances will not, N-O with a T, see how I did it, be in vain. You have to decipher these words. For your vanity, rhyme, reason, my ribosome, I have pierced the corporate veil, V-A-L, that all caps name. Open sesame, curtain torn. I am healed because they're wizard. You remember, like in the Wizard of Oz, he's just a little wizard, ain't nothing but a piece of shit. And curtain. So I healed the trial of Jacob and Esau. Esau grabbed Jacob's heel. This. So I'm not a liar. No liability. 4 corners, north, south, east, and west. Cross. Horizontal, diagonal, yod. Dot your I's and your T's. Double portion, paramount portion. I shun, I am not poor. Your pauper on paper. I pour out the waters of truth. Aquarius age, my quarry, my minerals and energy, golden inertia. My crowning Ma as mother, matriarch, nut, mind, Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. Jolly green giants court by Ritz. I followed the yellow brick road. Me, Sandra, means helper of and defender of mankind. My kinship, Gwen, means queen. No famine, feminine, no deprivation under colorable law, 18 U.S.C. 241 and 242, fractured racketeering human statutes and codes 5 U.S.C. Chapter 54, slavery, entrapment, fractured sentence, rescission fraud, 3-day foreclosure on my real estate. That's what that 241, 242 means. 12 CF4R Code of Federal Regulations 226-23, my 3-day rise from the dead, Good Friday, Rescission Act, rights rose from the dead, 18 U.S.C. 341, 342-911, all caps fictitious and surname. They're 911 cops, swindlers, and frauds. You know, when a cop gets out of their car, they're not bonded. And they try to put a bond on you, and I don't have to fucking bond any of your goddamn claims or contract with any of you motherfuckers. You won't fuck with this mother anymore. Your ID theft, fraud, legal, fictitious name. Matthew 22:22, ill, illusion. So there is no statute of limitations for man, and no one has jurisdiction over a beneficiary, heiress, essence, frankincense, myrrh, gold. I don't belong to Caesar. 421 Corpus Juris Secundum. 243 Writ Horse to seizure my property. Contract Clause 1 prohibits a state from passing any law that impairs the obligation of contracts or makes anything but gold or silver coin or tender your goddamn legal tender. I love you, tender. Fed notes, ID note. In payment of debts, all mine given. Your Fed fraud, I shun your dirt jurisdictions, you goddamn dicks. Pardon my French, parlez-vous français, with your French Revolution bullshit too. Yode ba hoo. So Act 28 CA Section 1732 American Jurisprudence 821 1951 permits all U.S. courts to accept my evidence, and this video is one of them. And you can take that to the bank. My congressional records and all in Smithsonian Institute under special my extreme court of records 321-CV 00069 Peg Court, London, Kentucky, and the CI ones over here in McCrae County Court and in all your courts. I've sent them to Montgomery County Court, the Lexington Fayette County Court, the Somerset Pulaski County Court, the Powell County, the Bath County, all your goddamn counties and state of Kentucky. And your 10-mile radius over in Washington, D.C., you have no jurisdiction. My diversity, adversity rights, 727 1868 15th Street, Chapter 249, Section 1. I am diverse and against your bullshit. Psalms 91, 490 fold judgment is coming. I dwell under the shadows of the highest authority, the only power and authority that cannot be superseded or overthrown. And 10,000 angels come from my side, right, left, and front and back and all over. Photographic copies of business and public records, authentic copies of my good deeds, will and conscience. Let me tell you, they pulled me over and towed my car because I didn't register it. It cost me $800 to get it back. I went to court about it because they ticketed my son, which is not a true bill for no driver's license. You have the right to travel. A driver's license is the ability to break the law and be a lawbreaker like a 007 James Bond. And They put their hands on me in the court. I said, where's your valid claim? Is this a court of record, a court of law, a court of equity? Who the hell do you think you are? You are acting outside of your authority. They wouldn't let me speak in court and had that goddamn militia flag up in the court that I ordered them to take down. They better put up their fucking white flag and surrender, because when they messed with me, they messed with the wrong woman. And I'm getting pretty pissed off that people, they can't pull their cases can hold no water. They're dead on its face and dead in the waters. So, authentic copies of my good deeds and goodwill and conscience, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You messed with the wrong woman in my sons and daughters and flesh and blood creations, and my son Zachary is dead because of it. And Zakar means to remember. Title 28 U.S.C. 1330 U.S. District can't claim I'm a corporation, and I'm not a goddamn corporation, and I have unincorporated, unalienable rights. Let's get that fucking straight. 14th Amendment ratification on U.S. citizen, all caps, my 1608 immunity. Your lost at foreign operations, international military complex exchange. That's why Jesus, with a G, flipped the tables. 501c3 code, religion means means no nation, no constitution, legion of demonetized funds. In the Council of Nicaea, they legalized Christianity, which is not lawful. Anything that is legal is not lawful, people, by definition. If you understand the meaning of legal, is really illegal. 8 U.S.C. Foreign Relations, Trading with the Enemies Act, fraud. And I'm not trading, and they're selling and merchandising souls. Title 8 U.S.C. 1481. I have a right to renounce U.S. citizenship, my born, given birth, given right as a living woman, in my volition and my allegiance to myself. I be true, and you all took an oath vow under this code for me to rescind my signature. I am no ignorant dummy AI for you to infringe upon with your unjust enrichment, and I don't swear by anything. James 5:33 through 37. I affirm on the Bible, Clearfield doctrine, which supersedes all law, well-read ink spilled, no drop of blood. Things in Black's law means objects of dominion, or in Samuel Johnson's dictionary, 1775. Objects of dominion or property is counter-distinguished from person lying under a duty, claiming something under surname, property of the state, to owe under tactics and obligations. I don't claim it, you can have it, and I'm no thing. It's like the Bible says in Galatians 6:3, for a man who think of himself to be something when he is no thing, he deceiveth himself. My burden is to tell the truth against Satan's fiction. I don't consent to consensual injury. John 14:27, peace, pi 5, 3, 6, 9, 36, 90 days. My Fibonacci code I asked ages ago. Peace I leave with you, not as the world. Let not your heart be troubled. You ain't taking my piece of the pie, you know. So my diversity rights, my DNA, you ain't cloning me. My Christa placenta, which has the tree of life imprint on it. Joshua 6:11-15, my crown and golden age. I know what you did with your ID theft fraud, covert over ID, COVID-19, 1 + 9 = 2, 20, 20, H2O, during cloth case, 69 billion bankers from Wall Street, 250 bankers given 150 years in jail because of their bull stock market bullshit, golden calf. They've been stealing from everybody with their uniform commercial code 1-308. One dash, what is, I've got them written down here. 2 Corinthians 6:15. What concord, my core, 33 vertebrae of my spine and body and temple, I am separate from your masters, terrain, drama, and Roman idolatry, hired servant wages. I'm not your employee. uh, Idolatry. I am the Hamashiach, not contrary to what is real, not part of Belial and infidels. Pay again, promise to pay them again, worship Nimrod. There is no pure gift in legal by any definition. Damned nation, Samuel Johnson's Dictionary, 1755, exclusion from divine mercy. I'm no part of Donatio, money, heresy, not approved, and I don't grant or admit or submit, yield, or concede to something which cannot be claimed of right. My benevolence is to bestow my gifts and talents. I am surety, assurance for myself. Proverbs 6 and 11:15. I'm not your donor. Donations, donatio, heresy. Colossians 2:13-15 blotted out all ordinances, canceling the certificate of death, debt, birth. Government ordinance department is what God stands for, people. And my vacation, I trust no man, and liars, Luke 46:52. Lawyers took keys of knowledge, grievous burdens, intercourse with secular world, covered up naked truth with fiction, harlots of Babylon, Roman civil, I'm not civilized, Gentile name terminology, your terms and conditions, and leases up. Docks and ships of Jekyll Hyde, private bankers, 1910 island, criminal trespassing. All crimes are commercial, 27 CFR 72-11, your code of foreign relations. You don't care about someone's innocence with your brokerage firm, prison bonds, monetary value placed on alleged crimes. Exodus 15:4, Pharaoh's army and chariots cast into the sea. They put a value on a crime you made, and they charge 200 to 300% on that. 40 million, 100 that, whatever they put number to be. Revelation 17:22. Babylon is destroyed. Your goddamn beast and whore, which I'm not part of. No. Let's get that straight. All my exes live in Texas, taxes. That's why I hang Steven. Hey, Wood Forest and Peoples Jane, all my prior accounts that I own, not you. Chapter 4-5 USC, payment to parent for loss of a child, my beloved son that you kidnapped, whose birth certificate was never signed. The Creator works in mysterious ways. I don't have to bond any of your non-valid claims. You are to provoke no man, and stop provoking me. Do not harm thy breath, brethren, or mine, and I don't have to pay your taxes for the breath I breathe. Do not cover what doesn't belong to you with your non-circus red tape crap bull. If any man takes another man's property, he is liable for the whole thing. I am not liable, and avenge 490-fold like Lamech against your sons of Cain, and mark of the beast, British Electronic Association System Terminal. Title 18 USC 2314, ID theft, fraud, foreign commerce of value 5,000 or more. Whoever transfers, mistaken, induces, or conceals to defraud a person, you can't harm a state, person, or corporation by legal definition. 26 USC 5008, the government obligation and requirement for essential coverage took out on everyone when they're born for death, life, and funeral insurance. Everybody's already insured from the time they're born. Assured surety. Legislative life resolving issued by date now to stop your peels. Halloran versus Davis, Social Security account 300 US 1937. Native. I have Indian blood too, and I'm a native here, born here. Claim original Constitution Marbury versus Madison, late great Judge Marshall said it can't be changed and was founded on the Bible by forefathers. Thomas Jefferson said, don't let the central banks come in our country to destroy it. Prima facie evidence. You can look at the 1920 dollar bill had 2 gold bars with Thomas Jefferson's face. The face show bread, I face my accusers in your usury, leasing, and surety. Deuteronomy 23. Luke 18:7, justice given to the elect. Luke 11:52, woe unto you lawyers who took the keys of knowledge, bonds, treaties, and Constitution versus British Bankruptcy Act of 1933, Title 28 U.S.C. 3002, Section 15 A, B, and C, Mr. ABC, People, and XYZ. My Electronics Communications Privacy Act, 18 U.S.C. 119, Section 2510 through 2521, 12945, 8 U.S.C. Your foreign relations traders with the enemy. I am a people saved rain. None of your cases can hold water and are dead on its face. Federal Rules 12B, Canon 7, you can't try the fictitious name. Contempt of court, no one can be tried in a foreign language in a foreign court. And judge can't rule from the bench. Bank, aren't you on a budget and supposed to be not-for-profit IDs? 4506 form appointment 1956. Surely there's been a conflict of my interest. IRS form 1023, failure of contracts, international fraud, violation, not following administrative rule for my tax exemptions and are personally liable. Perjurers. 13th Amendment, lawyers can't be in a courtroom. Impartial bias, not a witness. Prosecutors want to be in my skin. No one walks in my shoes. Issues. Title 26, 2032A, 3 separate valuations on all caps estate, time of death 6 months after in value, seller's transfer, trust law, tax law, 30-year maturity, publication 950 IRS, gift side to me 2002. 345,800 exclusion and 1099-C generational skipping tax, 5,380,000 every year for every year I made less than $400,000 that you stole every year. Form 706, 709, W2, W4s. You never transferred to me the Remick and Myras. 2 Timothy 1:7, my sound mind and volition. In 2:15, I've studied to show myself approved. No one's blood will be on my hands. My feet are cleansed. Matthew 27:24, I am innocent. My hands are clean. Recompense for sexual assault to my daughter in the foster home and for her father sexually abusing her, and I had the right to defend self-defense against him. Said he was the devil and was going to kill me and sexually abuse my 4-year-old daughter. And you, pedophiles, persecuted me for a righteous kill of self-defense. There's a difference between murder and a righteous kill in self-defense. Just so you know, people. I don't have to exhaust every venue as a factual navigation document, correct navigation vessel for my redemption. 28 U.S.C. 2254 through 2255. My administrative remedies, remedial law. You have to obey supreme law of land in my honor, my court, my juris over matters where I object. I am no subject or doormat for you to walk on. I'm recognizant and don't recognize or contract with you all, nor consent. I don't obey philosophies of men and traditions of men, your sorcery and dark psychology and big pharmaceuticals. I am the original. Their harm, their medicine to kill you with. Discharging instrument, genuine article, reality. 11 American jurisprudence. Obey good will and good conscience. My alkaline, my gold and silver, Red Sea. You put it in your water, you eat it, it gives you alchemy, it gives you long life. That's why they want it and take it. Why they steal your placenta too. Haggai 2:8, I wipe the dust off my feet. Mark 11, a testimony and witness against all my accusers and adversaries. My affidavit of truth and stupid stoops at the door. COVID, COVID-19, COVID, 10 is perfect, my poor carpenter. Genesis 1:26-29. I feel that it rats the earth and subdue it, take power and dominion over it more than three piggy banks. You're all notwithstanding law versus non-ratified admiralty versus the constitutional logic, international highest because of international corporation, Canon 7 because of land cannons keeping off pirating for financial interest as an unjust enrichment of pirating on the high seas and using me as a vessel when I am a temple body. I am meticulous on my position and status. I have arrived and I am chosen and elect and eliminate nonsensical lies, my seven gifts of the Holy Spirit. And Heavenly Father, Creator and Savior, forgive me for cussing them out, but they deserve it. All my writs and riveted documents, all my red ink endorsed letters were for my benefit. And oh, that Judge Bunton Tapehoof, the goat, tried to steal over in Fed Court in London, Kentucky. You ain't getting away with it. My private intellectual property, all of it. I do not blaspheme the Holy Spirit. Quadash was the original name for Holy Spirit. My special deposit, my bee's knees business is my own. And my VPN as a very important, significant woman. My Fortune 500 company in Hawassa Enterprise that I started when I wrote my autobiography. Public people, servants, private people. I am autonomous individual born in a straw manger, manager, I asking masqueraders, raiders of the lost ark, as a real church separate from your churches and state. I am of no religion, non-denominational, not of your foreign agency. I am not your living agent to pay all your bills. I yah the higher ones, destroy my offenders. My government rests on my shoulders. Isaiah 9:6. Is she real? Is I am the president in my own Oval Office, the bridegroom, silent G. I say my wed dinner party. Subrogate, exonerate, certificate. Certify, I am the creditor, not the debtor. Creditor, credit, in fact. All unconscionable contracts I null and void. I block your feds. I don't have to feed you. My is she real? Your 99-year lease expired in Area 51. I am not part of your social contracts either, or big tech 5G radiation phones, and my carbon tree from my H2O oxygen are true living waters poured out. I am not part of your securities. Give my stock on your golden cap bull stock market. I am the source, and the source is not taxable. Your Texas taxes, my exes. I exit like Moses. Exodus 5:1. Messiah. Under special, I am Pinky Jack, Jacob, Pineal, Manna, Unicorn. I've ciphered all the words. Subsequent, Hebrew Strong Concordance. Deuteronomy 11:24. Every place my foot has ever been, all territories belong to me, not to Satan. 18 U.S.C. 2266. Bodily injury, my self-defense rights violated. Let my people go. The real law was never abolished, Mr. Pharisees and Sadducees. Fairs, I don't pay to be sad. You're narcissistic psychopaths who need to take a DSM-511 test. You're all ill with no material data safety sheet. MDSS OSHA. Where's your isolate? I'm not late. You are, and you can't sell my soul. Class Act lawsuit right here, honey. My land on record deed. Lord, I know what that stands for with your House of Lords. Milk and honey against your so-called gods, government ordinance department, Jesus, H. Christ, Eve, you all zero tolerance, full stop to your nonsense, my self-defense. You are untenable and have no plausible deniability. I know all about UCC 1-308 and without prejudice, old 1-207 and 1-103 waiver estoppel, 1-103-6 code complementary to common law recourse, 1 volume UCC Article 1, subsection 10. You're sworn to uphold my unlimited rights not to infringe on my life and freedom. Financial and leap of 88 faith, 8 plus 8 equals 16, 1 plus 6 equals 7. Heaven and IRS manual exposes my age of majority act, or I prefer to say age of discernment, your cern, and discretion, crete, crater, crushation, IRM 21-713322, beneficiary of a trust, social security card, my parcel and CUSIP numbers and backup. And on birth certificate, my rest 31 CFR 363-6 minor social insurance exception account to be given by age 21. 777, you can't hide love, only sees the truth and can't be quantified or measured with your dishonest skills, which are an abomination. Proverbs 11:1. I counsel you to use gold. Matthew 2:11. Isaiah 6:9, symbol of purity. Nehemiah 5:3-13, bondage, slavery was outlawed. Your Nazis stole with Mr. Heimler in the Holocaust and the wars that you keep going. The social insurance exemption accounts that were to be given to the people by 21 that were worth over $6 billion in real gold and silver. I know the truth in history. All those brass and glued riveted documents at London, Kentucky court. Remember that? I don't use your Staples or Maritime Mechanics. I'm not married to any of you. You have no merit. I do not waive any of my rights, heights, my doc, your Doe, Jane, John, Joe, Henry, John Henry, you owe me my dough, money for my house of bread, bait. I don't have to registrar. You're in your cash register. My property, my jolly green jive, talking giants. No wicked king rules over me. Ban wicked kings and their tort claims. And I did a tort claim. And SF 14, 16, and 18 to go against any of you ever being able to put any torts on me and my soul or my sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters. My genealogy up to 1,000 generations and more. And I have no scarcity, your cities, your limits, USC 20, 1602 to 1611 and 1635, no boundaries whatsoever. Genesis, she, Bereshit, Yeshu, be shit. The pants of all of your emperor has no clothes, so close it. Closet, my closet you've coveted. I'm not your hostage, hostage. 1226, 1933, 49th Street, 3090 Series 881 from my command of correct jurist, 25 peerage jury, and 12 plus 1 equals my disciples in me equal 13, writ of assistance now for well-versed trust law, equity, no tax on me, 26 USC title, not taxable, proof freedom law school against your Justinian deception, Gnostic controls. Watch that one on YouTube, people, by Justinian deception, Gnostic controls. USC 8 and 31, USC 3124, Fed Subsection 179, 182 and 1982, 12 USC 542 and 1875, year 31 CFR, where you've been withholding all my gold and silver, copper, metals, it all, my energy. Deuteronomy 23, do not practice usury. Proverbs 20:10, unjust weights and measures are an abomination. With their greenback, they followed the yellow brick wall road in the Emerald City. Dorothy's clicked her heels 3 times and wants to go home. HJR House Joint Resolution 5736, Obama signed to spread lies and false flags with maximum law. If a man can be fooled, let him be fooled. Dummies, perjury. Your executive orders have no thing to do with me, and I object fully to your insurrections, you impotents. I realize make you impotent and impotent with your potions and delusions. I see the Essene, the gematria, and all the language and have ciphered it. I have no spirit of fear, false evidence appearing real, but one of power and sound mind. And Israel was originally called Amman people 8,000 years ago on a monument stone there. It's a sin sign signature for me to fill out any of your applications, and no licensure license me, people. It's spelled LIE, since is required to perfect law. Article 1, Section 10. Everything is contract as per U.S. Supreme Court. And Article 1, Section 25. No license is required to practice law. Practice of law cannot be licensed by any state with your bar cards and bar gains. Schwer versus Board of Examiners, 353 U.S. 238 through 239. B. The practice of law is an occupation of common rights. Sims versus Hearns, 271 Southwest 720, 1925 year. Corporations, trafficking of persons, 633-7 is a Class A felony. Florney versus First National Bank of Stravenport, 197106 352D. These are all cases, people. Security bonds on straw man account ticket. Securities for sale, merchandising of souls for sale. State versus Batson. No action can be taken in any constitutional courts and is considered a crime of barratry, inoffensive equity at common law. In Magna Carta 1215 AD, my right to own property and due process of law, and habeas corpus to free my body, my right to travel freely unencumbered and unfettered. Shapiro versus Thompson, no license required, freely assemble. Right to travel, 11 a.m. jurisprudence, first constitutional law, section 329, page 1135, Shuttleworth versus Birmingham. Supreme Court ruled no license required to travel my power of locomotion in automobile, i.e. Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 1914, E.D. Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, Blackstone's Commentary, 134, Hare Constitution, page 777. And your ACH clearinghouse fraud, a bank with checks, and my Fidelity stock insurance and Kentucky Farm Bureau and all insurance, all prior insurance I bought, you frauded me with to take away original insurance and Eagle insurance, your Medicare and Obamacare fraud, that 42 USC 18115 says I am exempt from and don't have to buy a contract. I was already assured. I don't need privileges or implied contracts as per definition of plaintiff or defendant. A claimant is higher than either, as well as a beneficiary. My private intellectual property is for my benefit. Wake and sing the good news. Your terrible unum sanctum secundum civilis. I'm not civilized or part of your civilization, your civil Roman civil law and maritime freedom from participation. I don't have to buy a contract. You don't owe me, and I was already assured to myself I'd be true. Article 1, Section 25 of the Constitution. I don't need a license. The license, the ability to break the law and be a lawbreaker. 007, James Bond. 15 U.S.C. Section 1692, false, misleading, fictitious conveyance of language. $25 million fine on you. Frauds. People perish for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:16, Isaiah 54:17. I shut and sew up your mouths. You're all dead to me. Like when a dead person gets their mouth sewed, you better shut your mouths. Because this woman right here knows the truth, and none of your weapons can ever prosper against me. That's my righteous heritage. Hair, air, my hair. inheritance. 15 U.S.C. Per Trade Act, Section 1 and 2 add RICO laws for deprivation of my rights under colorable law, punishable plus penal codes by 25 million pounds of gold, and you can get 20 years in prison for it. Mr. Duran bankers and puny judges be lair dragons lair and robbing Peter to pay Paul. Winchester Hester doesn't win. I do in my proposal and promises for life abundantly for my justice, Mr. Banton Tahoven, traitor, raiders of the lost ark traders. You can't take what's mine, Miss Good Wine, my vine, my branches, my chest, my tree, all your conspirators. I see the curses in your names. Bye bye, Biden. No bid on me in your Trump against my shofar blow. Your terror. 940-18 U.S.C. Section 1341 and RICO laws, racketeering, Section 102, drugged against my will in your prison, counterfeiting Fed notes via fake currency. Under special, I command immediate expedient assistance for my financial freedom. Can't pay a debt with another debt instrument. Section 659, 664, Section 891, 894, your extortion. Section 102, fraud related to documents, ID, Social Security, and license. And my car was never over 40,000 pounds. Do you ever wonder why there's weigh stations on the highway, people? And you can get 40 years in prison for stealing my social insurance account. Section 127, I am not subject to federal rules according to the original Constitution. You stole with access devices. And Court 1029, 1343, wire fraud, financial institution fraud, 1461 to 65, obstruction of justice, 1511 with state and local law enforcement, 1513 retaliating against a witness, and oh, have they hurt me. 18th Amendment did drug raid on me, 1542 false statements, constant harassment, duress and stress, 1592 slavery tract for 1831-32 economic espionage, 1951 interference with commerce, trade, robbery, extortion of gold trust, 73-10 silver lining, H.R. 192 all debts were paid, public and private, 73rd Congress, 1938-3, 48th chapter, 48th statute, acceptance for value, section 1958 of this code. Continue interstate commerce facilities and commission of murder for guns for hire, police, politics, section 1960, illegal money transmitters, 2251 to 2260, rape, section 2312, stealing property with label of motor vehicle instead of automobile, section 23. Interference with my phone, computers, books, Facebook, etc., my properties, 18 U.S.C., my 2385 right to overthrow government. My son was killed because of your gross negligence and greed of money and power. PC 288 violation, 10 years in prison, penal code. Black's Law 518-1036, intimidation. Taxes, extortion, 2113 bank robbery of the federal frauds, 1518 is in public law 94 page through 222 page. I claim my diplomatic immunity and right to bear arma, not arms, 8 U.S.C. section 1102 UDHR, my amnesty and golden rule rights. I am Spaka'ala woman, a very special woman. I don't pay your Peter Piper and Grim Reapers of Black Satan, Valley Priest, fictitious obligation 10428 public law. I won't, allow you all to disable me or fix my income. I am more, not less. I am more than a woman. No lack, no false evidence appearing real. My disillusion of marriage and divorce with a capital divorce with your bad husbandry. You all are a bunch of bad kids, spoiled brats. USC, my soul, ma, ta, total. You understand all law, Mr. Kentucky Transportation Department in your DMV. Bank rules 2B. Bank can't hold my property past 7 years unless given an extra 5 equals 12 plus me. Number 1, verily verified. Number 13, you cannot hold my property anymore. I don't give you permission to. W8 Ben, say unto thee, I don't comply for you to take my properties. You have clearly been mistaken. Big mistake. Claim and underestimated me and need to correct your mistakes for my full disclosure and said I'm in settlement soil as well. That never runs dry in your scam day. I'm not your donor and I require my reparation for I have redressed my declaration proclamation against Executive Order 2038-2040, Public Law March 1933. I am not bankrupt. HR 1000 PR 491 page 83. My current remedial law remedy against your stealing of my real estate, your scheme, all acts since 1933 are void and without authority in Treaty of Delaware. Put it in your database. I am untouchable. State law 333 tax exempt taxation without representation is not law. Declaration of independence, availability of duress and fraud, defenses to the surety. E.C. Arnold's 1928 cited by 5. Treaty of Delaware fraud 1730 East Indiana Company. I won't be held captive with your commercial bank system, and this goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden, and I claim my 1956 appointment. Fix it. Innocent name. I am determined to control my life and narrative to be a plus positive. 1917, the G attachment tax is for CEO Gov, 10 mile square radius, and I am a prophet, not them. So Hebrews 9:16, my blood covenant, and Revelations 2:17, innocent name, invoke laws of Republic of 13, eagle standing in my shield of justice with 13 stars and 13 olive leaves, not your 9 tail feathers in 4 letters and 9 numbers. DeJour's Post Office, 13-digit address, USA, Article 4, Section 4, Republic Laws, Lost Tribes of Hebrews, Volume 1, 5th Congress, Section 2, Chapter 49 and 50, implemented after they set up First National Bank under Biddle. Chapter 50 is my jubilee for debtor. Me, I'm no longer your debtor. Me, the creditor. In fact, against Rothschilds, Rockefellers, J.P. Morgan, etc., Babel Bank, English fraud, Fed frauds, etc., Illuminati, Wise Hot, 1776 Declaration of Independence. Franklin went to England. Continental dollars, lawful money, no usury, no inflation. My travel cards, thank you. Violation of First Amendment, false religions. I am not your corporate entity, and the bank is not my power of attorney to turn over. I am the power at law, my own power in attorney. For your proxy surrogate, I minus and alter. No more of your adhesions to law. You won't add to or take away from me. Not one jot or tittle, not one iota. I don't owe you a IOU. Me, you owe me. Chapter 11 in U.S. Code, the name in all caps essentially, and propria persona as grantor and beneficiary. I don't cross your bar, recognize, or contract with your bankruptcy debtor system on me. Free from Egypt, you jipping me off. In Babylon, I'm free from your feds, chief cornerstone. I won't be denied. I won, my beloved Zachary. What pain and heartbreak you all caused me, and I am no respecter of persons. I understand the definition of person. 1998 cited e.g. wrongful death for Washington Revelation Codes 4-20-010, 1996, for the wrongful death of my son, my mom, my dad, all my relatives you've killed, and especially my son, Zachary, which means to remember, in remembrance of me. And his birth certificate was never signed. So let the record reflect amnesia, null and void your contracts of fraud off of me and my other sons and daughter and my grandsons and granddaughters. Nunc pro tunc from the beginning, my pardon, dismissal for my entitlement, Don't dare act outside of your authority, ultraverse, or delay and deny me, for I am a force to be reckoned with. And I am no respecter of persons, legal definition, corporation, state statutes, half true human, and am no cotton picker slave. You broke Mosaic law with 75% cotton and 25% linen on the dollar bill, mixing of fabrics. I'm not your dull bill for you to bill and tax. I've seen your sovereign court registry fraud, where your gods have trillions of dollars in their bank accounts that they've been stealing from the people. This has been going on for a long time. I don't worship your gods. You reap what you sow. You've sown for your information on your long and short forms. I know all about your long and short forms, for I have a how I love it applied myself and approved to the best of my knowledge, and approved no more of your ledgers on me and liens on my soul. I am not adulterous with any of you. You have tortured me long enough, and enough is enough. 13% of your intelligence is diminished every time you use a debtor note. Did you know that, people? How dare you, my free thinking mind, new heaven and new earth, Revelations 21, my gateway. All things old have passed away, and your UCC, no merit, no rights to lean on me. My crown with all its gems and stones, and my pearly gates and 12 gates of tribes, and now are abolished. My ether against your Greek god's calendar with your goddamn feast days. Calm no man rabbi, first name basis. No one has title over me. I wonder why this stuff happened with that whatever was on the news lately. Under special Jekylls, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hydes, I will wall now bear sheep. No more of your jected Mr. Docs and Jekylls. Dogs. I suffered all this by all of you. 10 USC Section 920, Article 120, rape, assault, unlawful force, and rendered unconscious. When you drugged me, you could have raped me. And recently, when I went to Washington this past summer, a place where I was renting a room, I got raped when I fell down a hill and broke my ankle, across it, and the hospital did not follow the code of ethics, did not even set the bone. And then when I get here to Kentucky and finally get the bone set and end up having the surgery because I broke it so bad and it had been like that for so long, I suffered undue. They didn't follow code of ethics. I got into a conflict of interest with the surgeon about all this stuff. Fuck you, excuse my French, your illegitimate adjudications. I am not the product of your conception in artificial insemination. Mr. Trustees, what fiduciary ministerial duty have you now in your hands for my procedure and administration in discovery as a competent woman and correct authority against your authors of confusion? And I have a right to have righteous indignation because I've been fighting these bastards for a long time. All my life, as a matter of fact. No more Monopoly games. I won. Won't be disadvantaged with your principalities of darkness. Ephesians 6:10, my full armor, your Queen Elizabeth over there with her Prince Charles, principality of darkness. And they all claim to be related to Beledra, who was a real vampire man. Bastards. Drink people's blood. They take your placenta when you're born. Let me get into that. I simply have shed light on the facts, and it is my high expectation and command, Mr. Third Parties and Middlemen, that we settle, and I mean what I say, and I said what I said I meant. You all have now been notified for the upteenth time, Chronos. You have no more time is up to pay up, for heaven is extracting your greed with my anticorruptionsociety.com, with all our fair use rights for education, 17 USC Section 107 copyright disclaimer, and my copyright claim for no infringement or harm. I won't be at odds because I'm conscious. rectify these issues. My shoes, feet. I am the head, not the tail. Telltale, simple truth in innocent. My innocence, my satisfaction, and fulfillment of law document all errors in omission and forevermore private intellectual property, autonomous living woman, my discursive on all contracts as expressly designated beneficiary by design. I'm taking away my signature. I'm not your living agent. Repented of my signature with prejudice against all adversaries and all my rights reserved and claimed. No more detainers. Obey motu propria. Golden rule, do unto others as you would have done unto you, my prophets in law. Matthew 7:12. Undo the undo. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, my flick spark, yabba dabba do time, a dabba do time, we'll have a KO time. I will have you know, all have been notified. I have tons of time and money for my freedom and my flesh and blood creations that I've given birth to and brought in this world. And there are two worlds here, my real one, debt free, and Satan's fiction, debtor bank fraud fiction. Like Samson, who sued ID's eyesight and tore down your Roman Colosseum, you can't cut off my hair, air, nor charge me environmental tax with your halo on my high mindedness, my majesty, my highness, queen of my castle, and captain of my own ship, ownership, my no more repeat. I require and Corwaranto command, honesty, integrity, truthful revelation, naked trust. Oh, and do you all know that you have fourth state rights to have the truth with these journalists to know all the facts? For and my forever lands, my organic soil, minerals and energy, natural mother nature, my credit card, step free travel card, pensions and abundance as guardian of my household and lawful counsel, my own notary and power at law. Get back! Give back all you bank robbers stole now. No more delays. 42 USC 274 prohibition of Oregon penalties 50,000, 5 years in prison. You know, they take your placenta when you're born and sell it for $50,000 on the black market, and it has the imprint of the tree of life. So you can't steal corp what doesn't belong to you with your any way, shape, or forms. Get off my property. And my donkeys rode in on assets. Your goddamn tribe of Don is not taking my keys to my this little piggy went to the market. I will huff and puff and blow your house down. Bricks, red refiners, fire my treasury. Mother Goose, RH rhyme, blood rhymes. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Dante's Inferno, where Satan is enclosed in ice, surrounded by people who have betrayed people. A lot of the truth has been in these little fairy tales and rhymes, people. So, in the book of Revelations, when it talks about the black, white horse, which is death, green, red, represents conquest, war, famine, and death. All the king's men would not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. London Bridge is falling down. My groom bridge territory is large. Grand. First Chronicles 4:10. The prayer of Jabez. Let your hand be with me. Keep me from harm so that I will flee from pain. Your window panes and favor me. Enlarge my territory. Non-federal lands. My salvation. Salvage 781. 179. Claims my car's landed estate. Article 6, paragraph 2 of the Supreme Law, original Constitution. You're bound by. Foucault and Sandra-Gwen has clicked her heels times 3, 777, and wants to go home now. Time 1775. I come out of her babble in corporate crucifixion, statutory laws and co-op social contracts. I am private property. I come against as a saint against your new world disorder and regulations, civilization, crap collapse, sign here, bullshit attorney at law against your cesspool. You have no strongholds on me. This is my notice on U.S. account, and I do business in my Father's name. Heavenly Fathers, don't be jealous and cruel as the grave. My biology, autobiography, off grid, all works out for my goodwill and intentions, my cipher on your words and medical medicine terminology, synthetics, not natural for my nobility, no bill, well healed matrix, arch trust is earned, learn my rainbow, my USC 12411 right, real money and common sense, my brain rain manifested against Peter Pandemic. Good riddance, my resh head, heart, seraphim in heaven, Sarah Abraham, radical I am, I call your 369 Mathematica Gematria, 33, 3 plus 3 equals 6, 3 times 3 is 9, binary, religion is for those afraid to go to hell, spirituality is for those who've already been through it and fought their way out of it like me. This rock I build my house, algorithms, oligarchy, Rule 12b, subject matter can never be waived. Why? No facts, no competent witness. Why? Counsel equals hearsay. Why? All paid and part of the same side and cannot be witnessed. Why? A corporation, one of their own. No man or woman to face accuser of damage or affidavit of harm. See, this is why. Can never have a valid claim witness. You're all impartial biased witness is all part of the same party. My right to invoke fiduciary duty for write-off. You can never have subject matter separation of powers. By what authority a valid bona fide claim upon which relief can be granted latches has incurred upon a claim, whereas relief can be granted to me, like they did when they did this recent thing to my sons. And I've got Indian, English, Irish, Scotch, Dutch, French, Italian. One of my sons have Arabic and Colombian. We own a lot of rights and land. So ignorance of the law is no excuse. I beg your pardon, and I'm no beggar bird. I never promised you a rose garden. I rose from the dead, corporate veil, negotiable instruments, promissory notes. My promises and covenant equal automatically paid. Verily, verily, I say unto you, IDE 5396 EE series, redeemed fiscal services, survivors name, mature bonds in my name, assigns transfer, treasury for my heirship, ascension, glory be to God, the good one, not your God. Glory to glory, strand, Satan can't touch one hair of my head, DNA or my bloodline, blood in the chalice against your Talmudic, ecclesiastical, under commercial contracts. UCC finds my belief, LEAF, beliefs and branches are from the tree of life. I commit my spirit. My commission is with heavenly contracts. No more tears, pain, or sorrow. SARS now open. Part the C, AD on your birth bond one and stillborn, so I am reborn. My register 3 days Precision Act in my given name, birth certificate, BER. The secret of the I am my individual will. I have been my own worst critic, correcting myself as a judge for my perfection, and you guys never had no right to judge me. No versus can't beneficiary of a trust held by state, and it's mine. Obliger Form 2040, GSA Form 2039, Proclamation Bill, U.S. Corp. 200 times 10, whatever invoices X unlimited value. I am dearly beloved and benevolent infinity, signed 17 beta tent HH. When I lie down, I am glad it's over. Way truth and life on earth as it is in heaven. Shemak Shekana righteousness. My heartbeat, sun. Emotions on my sleeve. I am humble daughter and grown woman. My fingers hurt. All the writing to Congress, the president, all branches have mercy. It's finished. Let it be so. What's hindered me in the past wilderness where I looked upon the snake out of Egypt to rip Egypt off, no pun intended, trouble, depression, oppression, suppression, forces, affliction, destroyers, foreigners, uncertain, detained, burdens of lack, burden my provisions, break your chains, broken. Zephaniah prophet, loss will be restored. Instead of shame, I will have honor. My honor, all things moved out of my way. The prodigal son, daughter goes home. It's turnaround time for my favor, praise, my transformation. Uplifted, my message, Messiah, my receiver, the curse is gone, my essential iron B vitamins, no one can take me from my decreed faith, fate, destiny through all trials and tribulations. In hell, the hell I went through, how I love my creator, it lives in me, and my fight and realize open to the big, amazing possible that makes all dreams come true. I am so thankful. My investments to seek, ask, seek, find. I no longer am antidote, striped, healed, bitten. Behold, my snake is bigger than yours, and investigators, my gators, Hermes staff, brazen, beaten. Your test of Greek mythology, Zeus and sounds made from your venomous cause. I dug ditches in your ditches of drought and dry waters and charmed the king cobra, umbilical cord, son of man, cast shadow, cured by lamb. He became sin. I knew no sin. I am not sin. Revelations 12, virgin. Platonic singular, not forsaken, crown 12:11, overcome by my witness and testimony, prejudgment, my power from above can't be overthrown or superseded. On your seats, crucified in skull of Golgotha's hill, the devil is a lie, demonetized monetary funds, double crossers. Psalm 91, I dwell under the shadow of the highest and overcome the lie on you did, and the dragging on you've done, and the adding to and taking away with the snake, the hush, and you're taking my hashawa salvation, your add to take away hell, the curse is broken, free me, I am not your captive, I'm New Jerusalem coming down like a bride adorned for her husband, my proposal and wedding signature, Shekinah of righteousness. I can add those Hebrew letters. Bow your heads, red shepherd's book, my name written in the Lamb's book of life, and I will not be unequally yoked. Your hexes destroyed, do no feet it freed of information. Snowden exposed. He worked for the CIA, NSA, unconstitutional global surveillance, global fraud, states freedom of the press foundation for the states of journalists. My safeguard of protection, sharing my data, patents, fraud, files, hosts and services providers, cellular services, giant network devices, route cloud requests, record, commodifying advertising to make money against my interests. Satan is defeated. You will not get one penny of my money. You have no strongholds. Your satanic regime is destroyed. Your fiction. Third-party scammers, all your contracts rendered null and void by my word right now, forever, on anything for lack of transparency. Mr. Big Tech harm for anything on the internet. I'm telling you right now, I render null and void any contracts that go against my interest. I don't care what I've ever pushed or done in the database or have done. I'm not going to be punished for what I know and don't know. You big tech operators who constantly change everything. Fuck you. Broadly seen my personal information with your solicitors and digital unsecure email transit pictures with Google copies observation all watched and recorded and ingested on your bulk scale. Your parties are unrelated to me. I am not bound by your legal agreements and never consent to your illusion of consent rather than a fact of consent. No matter what changes you make, I will not be exploited. No matter what sophisticated self-destructive devices you use with your platforms, my self-defense against your offense legal regime violates my rights, That's the issue here. Your programs and developers and hackers collecting and retaining my data, social graphs, pattern of life, sites and innermost thoughts, inferences that don't understand me. Your machines, I'm not your subject with your over retention. Even when my bank applications expose your unauthorized biography of my life. My business and decisions are my own records. Dispossess, cease and desist, my right to be left, not for your loan. My Privacy Act enforcing my right to be forgotten, divorced, escaped, cast sins as far as the east from the west, to erase your strangers from my life and political creatures. My option to choose in sanctity of life, your third party doctrine creators don't own me and your Mr. Metropolis. I am no criminal. Smith versus Maryland in correction, regardless of any prior agreements and bargain chips, which I null and void. You're flawed. Limitations or contracts can't violate me into slavery. Your international abuse, it's not okay. Pop-ups flashed you've interrupted my accounts with. I don't conform to your patterns of this world, diluting me in my poetic justice. My Torah, Torso, Manner of Shift, 2010, Article 11, Will of My Father and my mother. I honor my mother and father. Hey, Mr. Goodyear, blimp, helium, oxygen, H2O, alkaline, gold and silver, minerals, oil and energy, and clean waters. My life autobiography I published on YouTube, over 400 videos with fair use rights. 17 U.S.C. IEL was for educational purpose to enlighten people. What monetary gain have I received? None. It was not for your profit. My open book that exposed all skeletons in the closet, all mistakes, the truth to make me free and loved ones free. Your system made PayPal cards, Amazon cards, all kinds of credit cards off of me that I've never received for my benefit, sole proprietress. You put me at risk with your strangers and made me vulnerable to killers and thieves by your exposure of my private information for what is supposed to be free apps. And you have not been paying my cell phone bill every month, nor did any of you pay for my cell phones I have bought in my life or that my family and friends have bought in their life. And your system terminal has invaded people's rights to privacy, especially their banking information, because you ask birth dates and some even ask your social security number or last four digits. Well, the buck stops here. I know now many of the rich have payphones in their homes and why you took payphones down in a lot of places. I command a safe phone that cannot be hacked into ever for me and my sons and daughter and grands generation. And this notice of all I wrote is including them for their full rights and birth registry, not your goddamn birth certificate you stole from us with. You're Mr. Private Bankers. I am a private banker and dancer of abundance, staying alive myself. What right did you have to judge self-defense against a pedophile? You all stole and took more than a farthing, 1 cent. Give back what you stole and you've harmed my head. You pedophiles. So, 46 U.S.C. Section 921, I notified U.S. Coast Guard and Homeland Security when I went down to Washington this summer. And I traveled all around there with no driver's license and no plates and nothing registered because they knew I know the law. And what makes you think, Mr. Kentucky, when I get back here, you can do your insurrections against me? Ex dolo malo non orto actio, Mr. Fascist Frauds, you're impotent with no defense. No will render its help to a court of fraud. So, letter summer 2021, which is Washington, 18 U.S.C. Section 1341 U.S. Law Summary reveals your federal fraud, foreign relations, and counterfeiters. Once you go black, you can never go back. Black's Law Dictionary shows the truth, and I wholly see what you have done, plus their corpus juris secundum and corpus juris civilis. Your books, to sabotage my country and my poor relatives who fought in World War One and World War Two and fought Vietnam War, and my son in the Navy, all used to fight for the rights and freedoms of we the people, and the ostensible reason we thought everything was for has been a lie. So I hate your wickedness and lies. You depart from my sight. Leave from me. I prey upon all of you like a predator, strong as a lion from the tribe of Judah, the ha ha. will suffer the consequences of your actions and falsehood. I don't forgive those who don't make right and correct their mistakes. John 20:23, Deuteronomy 30:15-16. I love my correct Creator and Savior who lives in me. That power comes out of me for my goodness, favor, and life. Romans 6:16. I am not the slave of your masters and don't obey your lack of righteousness and disobedience. Matthew 5:48. My heavenly Father is perfect and made me perfect. I wasn't born to sin sign signature with your having parents sign as informants on those birth certificate bonds of slaving, labeling from the time they're born worth 15 million by 90 days old. Social insurance worth 6 billion by the time you're 21, while the endless amount mine is worth at age 53, and every one of my signatures was worth $49 trillion. The one at the People's was worth one with 26 arrows behind it. Remember that. Your DEA killed my biological father, and Judge Winchester and Sheriff Penn Perry of McCrae County, Kentucky was all in at getting paid. I approve, you hypocrites, but no judge. You have no right to judge. With Ronnie Langston, who's now in jail for murder, gave my dad that Kool-Aid in the jail. And after my mother was given certain medicine, she died, had a heart attack and a brain aneurysm. You strangers and foreigners and lawyers don't represent me. Who do you think you all are? I am my own self-master, self-mastery. In November 2004, to make you, I know what you did to my father in the jail to make him have cardiac arrest. And he said, I'm going down. You all are going down with me. You never had a right to prosecute me for that house burning down that was mine and in my name and left to me by my father and was paid for and insured. And I knew who got the insurance money too. All of you. And you owe me every dollar's worth 121 times 167,000. What right did you have? We're no longer a lost tribe of Israel. I am real. Yes, I am. Kinship issue here. I do the will of my Father. That's who my brothers and mothers and sisters are, the ones who do the will of the Father. My will, that will that I undid that was done over there with Jason Rapp and that monarchy. I'm my own monarchy and aristocrat. The hospitals, etc., killed my father. They could have given him a blood transfusion to save his life. I now know you rebellious subjects. They're doctors and ships of hypocrites. A Hippocratic oath. Yeah, hypocrites. Bullshit. Sells the placenta crista that has the imprint of the tree of life on the black market for $50,000 or more to goddamn vampires, cutting the cord right after birth instead of after 3 days to cause immediate brain damage. You Hitler, Heimler, Nazis. I'm not your goddamn guinea pig, and neither is my offspring. The eggs I fertilize belong to me, and none of you walk in my our shoes. 18 U.S.C. Section 1201, Section 46501, 4955, Chapter and 919.4, 94, Public Law 103 to 322. You kidnappers can go to prison for not returning my seeds of love within 24 hours that you kidnapped in February of 2007, and Zachary, my death abatement on all of you for my son. Guess what? My son, like I said, his birth certificate was never signed by me or his biological father, and I have proof, and I filed it in the court. I filed tons and thousands of papers in the courts. I have an extreme court of record. What right did you have to do what you did? So, and in April 2019, what you did, and your constant hospitalizations of me, trying to make me suffer cognitive dissonance with your disambiguation. So the OCC and the FDIC has all been notified, and that's got 12,740 zeros behind it, you owe, because 490 fold. Under special, there's only one power. Get it? Good. Got it. Good. So Robbins versus Hardaway, 1790 biblical law supersedes all law, and faith is custom, and custom is law. USA Congress record Monday, August 19, 1940, excerpts page 4 through 5, etc. 1913, year changed our government, placed Treasury under control of Rama-on Bankings. Case 1901, John Harlan versus Bidwell, U.S. versus Bitler, 297 U.S. 156th Street Court, 312-102 AR 914, decided, changed to semi-quasi-government democracy, communism, UCC tax lien by Feds 1986, an incorrect act. Hager versus Reclamation, legal tender to not apply exactions, no promissory notes. Down versus Bidwell, two governments, CEO gov, and the one, the other that obeys the original Constitution or the Bible. Me, if my people call by my name and humble themselves and pray, I will heal their land. 2 Chronicles 7:14. Highest dimension, my Yahweh Shawa, the high winds. I will not suffer involuntary servitude. States versus Kosminski, legal coercion and force, no force, sure, or physical restraint and false imprisonment and hospitalization. 487 U.S. 931, 19 Section 241 and 1384. Federal Supposition 617, no depositions or affidavits can be presented by a prosecutor who is not an actual witness. Donnelly versus Derek Cristoforo, 1994, right to a fair trial with full closure and disclosure and settlement within 90 days. My cough. Free, quick, and speedy. It's been past 90 days with all my notifications, and I have proof of all my received paperwork, i.e. all recordings, fraud. McCallie versus U.S. concealing information, not fulfilling fiduciary duty for trust transactions. Silence is fraud. U.S. versus Pruden. Ziller versus Rankin, judicial immunity is lost by judges acting outside of their authority, no jurisdiction, conflict of my interest. Basso versus Utah, court has no jurisdiction to prove its jurisdiction. And see, there's been 2 judges that recuse themselves about my sons because they know I know the law. How much was my blood DNA placenta worth as an Rh negative blood? I'm not your universal donor. Schremek versus Schremek, judgments of Feds null and void, penalty of perjury, 7 years, not fulfilled duty as trustee and is not the valid claimant, has no defense. I won, and I won't be put at odds because I'm conscious. I won. Cruden versus Neal, law of nature immunity. I don't have to comply to federal rules or procedures. Clearfield doctrine. I am separate from any federal CEOs and Fed banks and its entities. Malix versus U.S. You are bound by original Constitution. 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, lawsuits against Fed officials. Williamson versus U.S. Department of Agriculture, 1991. Resident versus Anthony, 1873, distinguished from slavery, all caps U.S. citizen. I govern my own queendom. Kilburn versus Thompson, you're not allowed to engage in my private affairs, tracking my phone, invading private intellectual property, banks, etc. Sanctity of a man or woman's life and privacy, my essential happiness, exempt from scrutiny. Boyd versus U.S. 116 U.S. 616 630 29741 through 751. Justice Field, Emory Pacific, R32 Fed Rep 241250. My commission and peace and benefits and happiness and freedom. Hill versus Henkel, I owe no duty to open my doors to state or neighbors. Long antecedent law of land, I don't trespass against others. My contracts are with heaven, not hell. I have the right to improvise on any form of contract for the highest version of me. I assert 35 U.S.C. 101, you can't steal my patents in use for chemical electrical warfare on me. 11 U.S. Chapter 5G, your hoods, garments, and masks, I don't obey. You are not allowed to enslave me. What right did you have to label me a convict or criminal or aristocrats and nobility, majesty, kings and queens? I am daughter, queen. I look like so great right now, though, because of the current situation I'm in, seeing my uncles and stuff that's happening going on. But don't ever judge a book by its cover, honey. My lineage and ancestry is beyond your comprehension. Zero tolerance, full stop to your Fed frauds. Lawful, my court, 28 USC 333-1 for my real name, 1942. U.S. versus Palmer, Super 609 F2D at 547. I already did my writs of execution, including this one, and sent my peace treaty to so-called President Biden and his oath of Joseph Robinette Biden, real name, and Randall Howard Paul, etc. And Allison Ball don't own my treasury. 18 U.S.C. 1519 and 2071. You can't destroy my private intellectual private property. Silver lining burns off Dross 3333-999. My novel Hawa Enterprise. 18 U.S.C. 247-248. I'm Wake Live. U.S. versus Will. Your treason. Isn't it funny? I was born in Chicago and originally called Irwin I'm awake. I overrule your brass, bronze, iron, gold, silver, and any copper, precious metals you feds have coveted with your idolatry, with your dishonest standards, or unjust weights and measures. Leviticus 19:35-36, Deuteronomy 25:13-16. Do not use differing weights and dishonest game with your rape and fraud. I am a great lioness protector. Acts 7:48. My house, temple, body isn't made with your hands. Heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. All obstacle person. The writings on the wall. Your kingdom falls. 1 Corinthians 3:17. You tried to destroy my temple. Psalms 23. My staff and surely goodness and mercy follows me. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. My body is the highest authority, knows my works and good deeds and performances. 2 Corinthians 9:6-8. I reap from what I sow, the truth in love, and love can only see the truth. Isaiah 13:6-27. The walls of Jericho giants come tumbling down, and I'm no grasshopper. I am courageous. Numbers 35:9. My cities of refuge in defense of your wickedness that's harmed me and tried to kill righteous me. I copy-claimed all my paperwork, and it's not for you to infringe upon. Who was Melchizedek? Do you know that Melchizedek Shakana means righteous? Did not have was had no lineage. High priestess, and king. You all better set quickly. Do you know that your seed can live for 12 weeks before it's attached to your mother? Matthew, you all better settle matters with me quickly and peacefully. Matthew 10:28, for the one who made me. Matthew 2:1-11, my wife, frankincense, myrrh, gold is correct, heritor and claimant. Heiress. John 14:2, matriarch, patriarch, in my father's house are many mansions and forever land, soil. Proverbs 6:34, date of reckoning, and I am a force to be reckoned with. So, Revelations 5:9-14, Lamb's Book of Life, Redemption, my crown, DNA, and all you fed stole. I am not your slave. Song of Solomon 8:6, a seal for love. How is stronger than death? My heart of gold and twin flame. Matthew 5:25, Luke 12:58-59. 1 penny, 1 cent is all. You know how you stole so much more. So when you go to court, you only have to pay 1 cent, 1 farthing. Did you know that? Anything beyond that, you're supposed to get a hearing. 1 U.S.C. Section 8, 2002, Born Alive Act of Congress. Article 1, Section 6, Constitution, recognize I am created in the image of my Creator. I am not an animal chattel. 26 U.S.C. 501 and 502, my safety rules and regulation rights. Article 5, I don't consent to any administration stealing my estate, equity, and foreclosing and liquidating my property. What fourth branch of government do you have in my Constitution? None. My willpower and strong. And see, I'm making my own Constitution by my words and what I say. Your Fed, Rest, CEO, and judiciary are the real murderers and bank robbers. And I baptize all this that I've written and said in this letter by my hand. Me am not to be mistaken. I'm no Mr. I'm not married to anyone. My Creator and Savior lives in me. I'm married to myself. I will never, ever physically marry under any. And there was a prenuptial agreement between me and my second husband. I'll have you know, the state had no right to ever take my sons and daughter. There was a prenup, and I undo the third marriage, settling all matters right now because it was done without contest. Well, you bet I'm challenging and contesting. My willpower is strong. I sever all contracts with Satan and hell. Article 1, you can't deny my right to separation of powers. Where's your code of ethics with your 1099 OIDs? Chapter 11, no longer allowed to incur latches on my secret accounts under some certain closed account. Surrender all my worth and value, divine proportion back to me, 1.618.5 blood heirs, Eris 369 free, energy, Fibonacci code 0723, gematria. It is shameful what you all have done. Do any of you have any morals? Your disambiguation, concordat, and cardinals. The poop is not my papa, nor your universal laws, my natural law in the cosmos and world. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, Laws of Congress and Treasury Department shows I don't have to pay taxes, nor income tax. 26 U.S.C., Subchapter A, Part 1, Section 1 through 11. Under Special Terror Court Justice Paparella and the Queen, November 3rd, 2011, you can't transfer my given name to any invalid trust. My subpoena form number 56, Dukas Take'em right for divine intervention, and I use registered, certified, and first-class mail, UPS, etc. Tons of postage stamps, too, so let your officers know what is a reasonable articulable suspicion with their single articulable fact, RASSAF, that you pull people over with no emergency flashing lights, which is a felony, your red and blue shift lights, that I'm not engaged in commerce with your misters and sirs and public servants for you to put a bond on me. I don't have to bond your claims. Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, Shuttleworth versus Birmingham, LexisNexis, Section 502-003. Registration is only required by political division, and you're not the grand jury. Cops, they act like they're the grand jury when they pull you over and they ticket you. Do you know that they can't do that without the DEA and DA, valid district attorneys, right, and the grand jury saying that that's okay? My spiritual warfare prayer shakes the kingdom of darkness. So I like my core principle for perfect proportionality and peaceful nature for my deep, thick secrets, the very important reason my keys to my bank and doors to my mansions, please and thank you. And I don't have to beg, for I am the one and the one is free, and I vote for me, and I elect me. In 0911, you owe me a Porsche and for all-wheel drive and a Tesla convertible, $250,000 for every night and day I spend in jail and my son's in, and I'll take a Hummer, Jeep, SUV, etc. All the stocks my mom, dad, and I have, etc. In any car companies. Tata equals total, tax-free with tax-free tags. Dred Scott versus Stanford. Every natural man and woman is independent of all laws for those who follow the correct laws of nature. Don't covet, provoke no man, harm not thy brother, and breath of life. Golden rule. My property, H3655, Hebrew Strong Concordance, refuses your surname, flattery, title, and I elect me. Escape clause, Black's 10th, my provision under my specified conditions allows me to avoid bad contracts. Canon 7, you can't judge me. My double-edged sword, Hebrews 4:12. full stop, zero tolerance, breach of contract, you criminal trespassers. CFR 31363-10, 20, 25, and 26. My guardian and custodial accounts were to be turned back over to me by age 21, and your bonds are illegitimate. Illegitimate.